How are you today?
I'm good, mate. Very good.
Any injury concerns going into the weekend?
Nothing new.
And
Nothing
from
added.
a positive perspective, how good was it to see Murphy on the pitch? Before we look at the negative side of Weymouth, the positivity of seeing Murphy back on the pitch must have been great for you as his boss.
Of course, yeah. It's always good to have Murphy in and around it. He's a good character, and he's a good player. So yeah, it was great to see him back.
Was it a case going into training this week, just treat this game like any other game, forget the fact that it's the title-winning match?
Of course.
Because you've got other ones in front of you.
It's very rare that you get an opportunity to win a league with 5 games to go, which shows how well the players have done. With the amount of expectation that's been on us and having to deal with it being everyone's cup final every week, it's great that they've got to this point, and it's important that we just see it as it's another game. It has to be like that.
Matty Worthington took over the captaincy this season, and this on his second spell at the club. He's certainly grown as a player, I think, as a midfielder, but as a person as well since he's become captain, don't you think? I
think so, yeah. He's a good character, he's a winner, doesn't like losing five-a-sides, doesn't like losing games of tiddlywinks, so he's a good character. I think Matty before was a midfield player that was going to run all over the place and use his energy, but we've tried to give him a real sort of structure to his play and a real discipline that enables him to really show off his qualities, and I think he's shown that this season.
What dangers do you think Worthing can bring other than the obvious Ollie Pearce and his 30 plus goals this season? Because he's clearly done something right, hidden away, tucked away in Worthing.
They're the best, what I would call pure football team in the league in terms of the way they play. It's high risk football in terms of they play lots of risk football deep in their own third at the back to try and hit you in really dangerous areas behind. So they're real dangerous opposition to play against. They've scored, I think, the top scorers in the league, aren't they? You can see why. They've got some great players, good young players that have no fear, just want to pass the ball and run forward. And obviously they've got the top marksman in the league who's done brilliantly well. We've got a caretaker, or a young manager who I managed at Forest Green, and Aaron Racine, a really good centre back he was, and a good footballer. So he's carrying on the good work of Adam Hinshelwood.
Do you now, after this Saturday, assuming things go according to plan, do you almost start planning for next season already, or can you?
No, I think you have to respect what's in front of you, and that's a really difficult game on Saturday. And of course you have things in your mind about players' contracts, potential targets, but it has to be pushed. You have to have a certain organisation, but of course with the analysts and the analytical department that we have metrics that of players that are hitting those and lists of players, but in terms of doing anything about it, nothing until we get to where we need to be.
Do you see yourself as hopefully the manager of Yeovil Town starting next season?
Oh, I certainly hope so. I've got another year's contract, I think. So yeah, I'd love to do another year, yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Mark, just with the Weymouth game, you managed to play 70 minutes on Monday before the abandonment. How do you sort of manage that with players' minutes and the fact you might have to replay that again? Is it similar to sort of a cup game where it's quite high intensity for those 70 minutes?
Yeah, sort of we've viewed it as we've got 20 minutes saved in their legs, or I think there's 24 minutes left, the referee told me. There was still 24 minutes to play, so we've saved that in the tank. And then hopefully we can use that to our advantage on Saturday.
Monday's results elsewhere, with Dover beating Chelmsford, another curveball thrown in the National League South. I mean, How have you found it so far this season? As far as there's been so many strange results, and we've been on the wrong end of those results as well, and other teams have as well. But how have you found that?
I think even more so, you've got to try and control what you do, and it's like, and I know people are desperate to know this result, but I think it's so important, and this shows, like you have to look after your own house first, keep that in order, and keep doing what we're doing, and if we do that, then hopefully we get the right results. We try not to worry, and I know it's boring for you guys, but we try not to worry too much about other teams. Of course the players want to look, but we just try and focus on what we can control, and that's whatever's in front of us.
I'm sure you've had a look at Worthing, and as you say, they play some very good football. Is it weird how you sort of, with the Oval being sort of that status they have within the league, teams sometimes turn up and change how they play, and they sort of try different ways to get a result at the end of the day? I mean, how have you found that so far this season? Yeah,
of course, nearly every team. There's only a couple. Worthing won't change. They're going to play the football, and then full credit to them for that. It's a real good model they have down there, and whoever's in charge, they play the same way, and it's really difficult to play against, and it's why they, it looks like they're starting to produce some really good players, young players. So they certainly won't change to play us. They'll fancy their chances, rightly so, and we've got to make sure we're really aggressive in our structure and how we play.
You've always said that you take it one game at a time. This game being one that it can seal it with 3 points, if the match or better to resolve Chelmsford. You mentioned about title winners within the squad. There aren't many. How have you felt that the mentality of the squad has been, despite there not being many title or promotion winners?
I think they've been, on the whole, good. Of course, you're going to have some weeks or moments where it doesn't go well. So a couple of weeks ago, we lost to Welling and we lost to Chippenham. The whole world was going to end. We were the worst team on the planet, and it was important that we all stayed calm while everybody else around us was melting and losing their heads. It was important that certainly myself, the staff, stayed calm, and more importantly the players. And we've backed that up, and we've gone to Slough and drawn, who are 19 unbeaten at home. Up until then, we've gone to Braintree and won. They were 14 unbeaten. We've beaten Torquay here and not conceded a goal. So I think it's important that the players are always level-headed, balanced, calm, and we don't overreact on the back of. We didn't overreact when we won 14 on the trot. So on the back of 2 defeats, we didn't overreact. We stayed calm, stuck to what we did, got back on the horse, and we're off and running again.
It's been 19 years since a league title has been here at Hewish Park. I think you were just about starting off your managerial career at Tamworth. I'm sure you're hoping that it will be done at home in front of a good crowd. I mean, what have you got to say to the supporters ahead of the weekend?
Well, if they can give us the same level of support that they gave us on Friday against Torquay, that'd be fantastic. Players certainly felt that, and certainly felt the energy in the stadium. It certainly affected Torquay, I thought, and if they can give us that same sort of backing and that energy, hopefully it can be a really good day, a memorable day for everyone. But there's a lot of water to go under the bridge until then, and however you dress it up, we've still got to go and play well and perform.